All right, we are live once again. Everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Good to see you guys today on Sunday evening. It is late Sunday evening, 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's where I'm broadcasting from. I'm currently in my Airstream, so I'm in my mobile studio joining you guys today. And I'm here to talk about all the latest news, entertainment news as usual that's happened over the last 48 hours or so, the last 3 days. So I hope you guys are ready. Lots of things happening in the world of entertainment. As always, I like to talk about entertainment on this channel, trending topics, and of course, anything and everything in between. So glad you guys are with me tonight. Buckle up. We are going to be talking about celebrities. We're going to be talking about industry professionals. We're going to be talking about AI. We are going to be talking about some Trump things as well, unfortunately. Not my favorite subject, but I'm glad you guys are here today. Let's get into it. Let's dive in. Without any further ado, I have a little bit of time with you guys today. I have to go pick up Denise. She is currently on her way home from Portland, Oregon. So I am going to be picking her up here shortly. So my time is limited this evening. But she was working with clients all weekend in Portland, and I hope she had a successful weekend. It sounds like she has, and I'm excited. This is my first time streaming live on both my Rumble channel and my YouTube channel at once. And I am using a third-party platform, so bear with me. There may be some technical difficulties, but let's see if we can make this work. Hopefully this works here at the stage. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen. There we are. Let's make that bigger. Let's make it bigger for everyone to see. There we go. All right. Let's get into last week we talked about Reacher star Alan Ritchson and his altercation with in a neighborhood. I'm not sure exactly where he lives or where this was, but it was him and his two sons were following him on motorcycles, and there was a fight. And the neighbor on, I guess, to his right currently, so it must be one of these houses coming up on the right-hand side. I don't know. Let's see. Can you guys see my cursor? So one of these houses here filmed the incident after it had already started happening. And so Alan Ritchson was wearing a body cam, and he released his footage of the version after the neighbor released the footage to TMZ. And here we have TMZ reporting on that right here. So I don't know if you can hear my sound. I hope you can, but let's play this. So he's cruising through the neighborhood. His two sons are behind him on motorcycles as well. He comes around this corner. This guy's standing in front. Now, all right, I'm going to pause this right here. I would be probably just as upset. I don't know about you guys, but let me know if you cannot hear the sound for any reason. But I would be just as upset if there's a guy standing in the middle of the road and basically trying to get me to stop. As you can see, he fell over on his bike because you're not expecting that, right? You're just enjoying your afternoon. It looks like a very nice, beautiful day there, wherever he's at. And here's this guy yelling at him. Now, he's yelling at him. If you listen to the video, I hope you guys can hear. This is the first time I'm trying it through this application, but let's see. Share video app. Seems like it should be on. We'll see if that works. But anyways, he was yelling at him for cruising really fast through the neighborhood was his complaint, right? He said there's kids playing here. But if you look at, you can actually see the speed that he's traveling here. 20 miles an hour. You guys see you see that right there on his dash? He's going 20 miles an hour. I'm sure the neighborhood speed limit is probably 20, 25. If signs are posted, I would imagine it's probably somewhere in that. So he's not tearing through this neighborhood. This neighbor makes it sound. Second of all, why does the neighbor have his motorcycle out? What was he planning on doing with that? Was he going to go chase him? He's complaining about tearing through somebody's neighborhood, right? But he's planning on jumping on this bike and chasing him. Let's rewind this. So if you notice the dash here, 19, 22 miles an hour, 21, not tearing through the neighborhood. This guy feels safe enough to step out in front of the motorcycle. So if you guys saw the original video, this escalates. He ends up punching his neighbor during the altercation. The original footage again was from one of the I think it was this person, right? You see him in the window actually filming behind him right there. Those are his two sons right there. Oh, it's so fast. Anyways, so he released his footage on his body cam here because he's pretty much justified in this altercation. Good thing that he has Alan obviously is a very smart guy. He's got a body cam on while he's riding with his son. So clearly he's not in the wrong here. His neighbor was completely in the wrong. Well, guess what? His neighbor's no longer pressing charges. Surprise. He dropped his complaint. If he didn't have this body cam footage, I'm sure that wouldn't have been the case. The neighbor probably would have thought, oh, I got it. I have a lawsuit. I can get a lot of money from this guy. So, Alan, I'm glad this all worked out for you in the end. Let's move on. What else do we have going on in the world of entertainment? Oh, so in the world of AI, I found this to be very funny. Here is a AI bot, one of the delivery bots. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. I've seen it in a few cities I've traveled to. I have traveled the world. I forget which cities I've seen this in deployed, but I've seen it a few times. It drives down the neighborhood. I've seen a few people pick up. It basically gives you a code on your app on your phone. Once it gets to your house, it alerts you that your delivery is here. And then you type in the code of some sort, and then the side of the bot opens up because it's got a case in there, and your food or whatever it is that it's delivering to you is there, right? So this is the future of technology, the future of AI that we're all excited about. But I want to make a note here. I love how the American flag is just flying in the background back here. But watch this. I hope you guys can hear my sound tonight. But this is pretty funny. I thought I got a crack. I've watched this several times. Looks like this is Philadelphia or something. So here comes the bot navigating the streets. Crashes through a bus stop. You know what I love about this video? I can't tell what license plate that says. I don't know where this was located. You know what I love about this video? Let's watch it again. I love the fact that the bot has a taste just like a human would. What did I just do? Its eyes blink. I hope you guys got as much of a kick out of that as possible. I cover a lot of AI on my channel here, and I like to talk about everything current. But Denise and I, we talked about humanoid robots and how Elon was saying humanoid robots are going to be great. They could watch your kids and they could walk your pets. I asked Denise if she would ever allow that. She said, absolutely not. Because of this type of thing, right? What version do we feel safe that that's not going to happen anymore? You come home and your kids are missing. All right, moving on. Let's see what else is happening here. Oh, Miss Thailand. I guess this was during a speech for Miss Thailand. I'm not sure exactly the event, but I saw this on TMZ, and very graceful when this happened. Her veneers fell out on her mouth there, as you can see that. So she obviously had some fake teeth, but I thought she handled it very well. I don't know if I could be playing this music on YouTube if I get banned for it, but anyways, so we'll cut it right there. But very graceful. The show must go on. And as all professional actors and models know, as I tell all of my clients, the show must go on. Continue the best you can. If you mess up, if a mistake happens, if something happens, wardrobe malfunction, or in this case, veneer malfunction, right? Keep going. She didn't run off stage crying. She didn't let it affect her. I'm sure mentally it's bothering her right now. She's thinking about it, but she outwardly didn't allow it to affect her parents. So great job, Miss Thailand. I applaud you for that performance and obviously a embarrassing moment. So you handled it very well. Speaking of moments, I don't know if this has been going viral the past few days. Drusky online, he's got 12.3 million followers on Instagram, and he posted this clip here, and it's gone viral. It's done very well. Let's see how many views we got on it. 85 million views so far. Check that out. Crazy. Anyways, if you haven't had a chance to see this, I will not be playing the sound of it. I'll just give you a preview, but go check it out on Instagram for yourself. I won't be playing the sound for it because, again, you pull it down, say I'm infringing on the music of the artist who he played on this video. So, but let's take a look at it here. Now, he put in here in his caption, how conservative women in America act. I've watched this several times as well. I thought it was pretty hilarious. And he's a comedian, right? and his clips are driven. So I don't take anything that he does seriously. Now, apparently, he just posted another video I saw yesterday. Apparently, Erica Kirk is suing him for this video. And he says, look, all right, I'll stop it there. You guys can check it out on your own. But he says, I've done nothing wrong. I didn't share or do anything other than what was presented on stage or to the media. And as a comedian, I'm doing a parody. So he said, I'm just doing a parody of what I've seen that people have posted online, right? So he's not making fun of anybody directly, although we can all see that this is supposed to represent Erica Kirk. And just calling out what he sees in a comedic fashion. Now, if you read the comments, everybody agrees, or just, not a lot of people are applauding him because we're all seeing the same thing. And it hits chord. That's why it went viral, right? Because we all see it and we all think, So we did walk on stage when fireworks going off and her, Chinese suit, whatever it is that she was actually wearing that day, her sequin suit, thought to ourselves, that's kind of weird, if it was morning. And again, we kind of to the back of our mind. And we saw her on a book tour. And we saw her interviews and we saw her emotion on screen. And we thought, that doesn't seem natural, right? Or something. I said it to Denise. Denise said it to me. We're both thinking the same thing. But, no one actually addressed it much. Now you have people like Candace Owens who has started to address it. And only because if you make yourself a public figure and you put yourself on camera like I am today, criticism. I'm sure there's going to be people watching this today that are not going to agree with me. And I'm totally okay with that. That's fine. That's why we do this, to have discussions, to kind of our minds and give thought to what is actually taking place. I like to give you my perspective and then you can make your own decisions. So I don't agree with everything I see online. I don't agree with everything that people post online. Absolutely not. But I thought this was pretty funny. If I was featured in a Drusky video and he was making fun of me, I would actually I would laugh with it, think it would be funny. I'm not sure the situation. Obviously, I'm not featured in a Drusky video, but again, there would be a sense of self-pride. There was a reaction video that somebody posted when Charlie Kirk was on South Park. And I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but there was actually an episode where Charlie Kirk was being made fun of on South Park. And there was a reaction video of him seeing it. And he said, I love this. This is so great. It's so funny. Because again, he's like, I've arrived. People are me. I'm not doing anything unless I'm being made fun of, right? You're not doing anything important. And so he handled it with class. I wish Erica would do the same thing. She is now currently CEO of her deceased husband's operation, and I wish that she would just take some notes from him on how he ran things. So anyways, go check out the video. If you haven't seen it already, 85 million people saw it already, so I'm sure most of you probably have seen it. What else is happening in the celebrity world? Let me share my screen again. I will get better at this. There we go. All right, let's make that bigger. So Tiger Woods arrested again for another DUI after his rollover. Man, this guy cannot catch a break when it comes to his health. He has like multiple surgeries and he's got back surgeries. He's just recovering. He was trying to get back on the tour. And then this happened. You wonder why he has so many surgeries. He keeps rolling over his vehicles. He keeps crashing. It's got a toll on his body, I'm sure. But he blew in a breathalyzer, so obviously it must have been medication again. I know that one of his previous arrests were medications, and it kind of felt bad for the guy. I don't know. I've never been in that position before. Obviously, very dangerous situation, and medications, people react differently, and I'm not sure what medications he'd taken. Again, he just got back from back surgery, so he's in the middle of trying to get back on the tour. So he's doing work to get back into, no pun intended, the swing of things, right? And I'm sure that involves some medication after his practices or his day of work to the pain or pressure or whatever he's going through. But man, he needs to hire a driver. He does not need to be driving. And obviously, he's very sensitive to medication if it causes him to keep crashing like this. So I'm glad nobody was hurt. It was pretty intense, a crash. He rolled his vehicle over. But yeah, um, man, he through stuff, hasn't he? We hope for the best for you, Tiger. We loved seeing you in your prime. You're an amazing golfer, and we hope to see you back on the golf course in the near future. Let's take a look at, speaking of car crashes, we have our FBI director email hacked. Denise is texting me that she's at her layover. So anyways, car crashes. We got the email hacked from the FBI director. Oh my goodness. Hold on, let me just reply to this text message here. So, email was hacked. According to people that have reported on this is Iran that hacked the FBI director's email. And I just want to say that. So, a couple of things. Obviously, how in the world does the FBI director's email get hacked? I mean, this guy, I've my show, the obvious mishaps been having with the media, with his job, and just the seeing things that are happening with him, and then now his email gets hacked. So FBI Director Kash Patel's personal email address hacked, says Department of Justice. This comes only a day after Iran linked, I'm not going to pronounce their name, hacking group claims it breached the FBI. Soon you realize what the FBI's security was nothing more than a joke, is what this hacking group claimed. So here he's got to be so embarrassed, right? Here he's the FBI now, all his personal emails are being leaked on the internet. Coincidentally, I mean, they're leaking all these photos of him in Cuba, right? And so people are going off on that. This guy here, Max, while U.S. federal agents harass Americans for bringing humanitarian aid to Cuba, seizing their phones and subjecting them to interrogations at the airports, photos surface from FBI Director Kash Patel on a trip to Havana, enjoying cigars, rum, and local culture. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can go to Cuba if you have special permission from our government. I think there's humanitarian organizations that have been going to Cuba. Unless that's changed, I'm not aware of it, but I always knew that was a thing. You can go, I think, for missions trips, and you can get special exemptions. I would imagine that the FBI director could get an exemption to go to Cuba if he's going there for work. I'm not sure if these photos show him there for work. The weird thing is, who sends photos through email? I mean, right? I don't think I've really ever sent a photo through email unless it was a business related request, like a client of mine, director wanted to send a photo of a client of mine. So I'd attach the photo and I would send it. Or if it's a long business related email and I put in some reference photos, take a screenshot of this to what I'm talking about. Things like that. Very rarely do I ever send photos and emails because, number one, they're very cumbersome to send. And number two, you can just text them, especially if they're so 99.9% of all my photos when I'm sending them out to other people do not travel through email. Apparently, Kash Patel, when he's in Cuba, he sends all of his photos through email. So maybe his phone doesn't work. I'm not sure. So I don't fault him for being in Cuba. I don't fault him for, I don't know the surrounding his trip to Cuba, but I mean, this could be even FBI director. Maybe he was on a humanitarian mission. Who knows, right? But here's another one. Kash Patel was picked to be the FBI director and then did nothing. Dan Bongino was picked to be the assistant FBI director and then he did nothing. So people started to yell, "You guys did nothing." And then Kash Patel's girlfriend replied, "These complaints are a Russian plot." Oh my goodness. I mean, like, I it's not fair to say they did nothing. They protected the Epstein cabal. True story, right? I mean, I just broadcast the video that Dan Bongino getting yelled at after an event for doing nothing, basically, right? So he basically he was leaving the event one evening and some gala or something, and he was getting people yelling at him. And he's been yelling on his show. I don't watch his show, but I've seen the clips. People that do watch the show just to see how he's doing. He doesn't look well. He doesn't seem well on his show. He looks very stressed. But again, the American public, you can't say one thing. You can't say, I'm going to, once I'm elected or Trump gets elected, if I get appointed to an office, I'm going to make changes. We're going after, all the people in those Epstein files that need to be convicted, and then work a year and not do anything. And then go back to doing your podcast after you've made millions off of Rumble. You've made how much off you're doing well for yourself. I think I looked it up. AI told me that you're worth 154 million or so with Rumble stock. Who knows how true, how accurate that is, but that's just in Rumble stock alone, not counting whatever assets you have. And then you're questioning why people are yelling at you for not doing your job after saying what you were going to do. So anyways, I don't need to explain that. I'm sure he is smart enough to know why he's getting yelled at. I hope. We'll see. Going back to Cash Patel, his issues. Share my screen again. Reward. The U.S. reveals a $10 million bounty after FBI boss Patel's email hacked. A $10 million bounty if you have information on Iranian malicious cyber actors or associate groups or individuals. Contact us with any information such as names, online personas, and locations. $10 million reward. Come on. I mean, I understand that you guys are embarrassed and that you're ashamed of the fact that your emails have been leaked. But can we do something about Epstein? Can we go after that? And through her mom is still missing. Can we get a $10 million reward for her mom? I mean, come on. If you guys, yeah, I feel really bad for her. You can see that she's obviously going through a lot, and that's got to be very hard for looking for her elderly mom. She's in her 80s, been kidnapped. You can see how distraught she is. She's not faking it. She's a professional TV host. She's been on TV for years. She's done interviews for years. So sitting down and doing this interview obviously isn't difficult for her at all, to do, other than the fact of very emotional topic and something that is concerning for her missing mom. So we hope and pray for the best. She is still missing. If you guys come across any of that, please report that. But yeah, the FBI director Cash needs to be concerned about her than his leaked emails, personal emails. $10 million reward. Speaking of government interfering with everything, so this was an interesting tidbit of it. I had no clue. Actually, you guys may be smarter than me and have known this, but so In-Q-Tel is the CIA's capital fund. I guess I'm saying that right. In-Q-Tel. So I guess the CIA has a venture capital fund. Did you guys know this? So with taxpayer dollars, they have a fund, and they basically fund startups, right? So if I'm operating a business and I have a plan and I need some help launching my business, well, the CIA can help. So apparently they've invested in startups to get access to the tech. Some of them, of course, have become billion-dollar giants. So example, Google Earth started as a CIA-backed startup. Wow. It just blows my mind. A lot of conspiracy theory rabbit holes go down now with that information. But yeah, so Google Earth was funded by the CIA to start. Wonder how much of a percentage they still own. Planter, which is an AI company, also got CIA funding. Apparently Tulsi has moved to take over the In-Q-Tel. But should government be involved in venture capital? Like, this is the first I've heard of it of all my years I've lived. I mean, maybe this was a thing. Maybe I should have known about this. I just wasn't paying attention, but I thought that was very interesting information, and it made me question and wonder why. And it just gave me a lot more questions than answers, which usually happens, of course. Moving on here. Let's see. We got government involvement in, of course, business. So the Department of Justice sends subpoenas its investigation of the Paramount $100 billion acquisition of Warner Brothers. We saw this coming a mile away. We knew this would happen. Netflix was actually positioned to buy Warner Brothers, and Paramount stepped in and outbid them last minute. Netflix stepped away, and Warner Brothers had to pay them a substantial amount of money, broke the deal. So the deal was already on paper, everything was ready to go. And because they broke the deal, they had to pay a penalty. I want to say it was $2 billion, if I remember correctly, but you have to go back and look that up. Don't quote me on that. Anyways, they then bought an AI company, right? So with their additional money. So they knew that the Department of Justice was probably going to step in at some point and look over all the documentation and make sure this is a legal transaction and that they're not creating a monopoly and, all this red tape. And they pocketed a ton of money, and then they bought an AI company. So me being in the entertainment business, I thought that's very interesting. So they have this AI company now that can help move their products quicker to marketplace. It's not AI actors. So it's not about it. And it's not a product that actually creates AI actors or AI talent. It just helps the back end. It helps tools with editing and post-production, AI tools, basically. And so bought this company so that nobody else could have the technology. So they now have the technology, and it's supposed to speed up the process and save them money. Now, obviously, video editors, I'm sure we'll be losing some jobs. Project took handful of video editors. Now I'm sure will take less human video editors because of this new AI technology. This is just one example of how it's taking over the entertainment business. I've always said 2026 was the year that AI will be taking over entertainment, and we're seeing that every day. We're seeing changes happen in the marketplace, and we're seeing the results as well. So we're keeping an eye on it, and of course, keeping you informed whenever something comes up. More government stepping in, as we're on the topic of government stepping in and getting involved in our lives, business world or entertainment world. Here's the government stepping in the world of entertainment. We have a Wisconsin sheriff confirmed that a man arrested after distributing an offensive internet meme depicting him with a Jewish star on his forehead and calling it anti-Semitic. So this guy made a meme. I want you guys to step back, regardless of what the meme was or who it was. This American with the right to free speech in Wisconsin created a meme. The local sheriff. The local arrested him. Again, government stepping into the world of entertainment. Memes are meant to be entertaining. They're meant to be humorous. They're meant to be funny. They're meant to make you think with pictures, think differently. And let's listen to what this sheriff has to say. He didn't threaten or intimidate me because I signed up for this job to be the sheriff. So don't worry about me. I have thick skin. This is just a daily as sheriff. He was arrested, by the way, in Wisconsin. Does he feel safe enough to do this to me? Yeah, we have the right of free speech. Come on. He feels empowered and emboldened to create a meme of you and put it online, and you arrest him. Now, he didn't say what the arrest was for. Did you notice that? By the way, he was arrested today. I mean, maybe he was arrested for maybe the guy robbed a grocery store, or, I'm not saying he did. We hypothetically do not know what his arrest was for. But he goes on to say, that this guy is ridiculous and allowed to say these things, and he implies that he was arrested for that reason. Moving on here, we have, I wanted to point this article out. Secret Service agent accidentally shoots himself in the leg while escorting Jill Biden at Philadelphia International Airport. That's the headline. Accidentally shoots himself in the leg. Now, I want to point out a couple of obvious facts. I wasn't there. I don't know how he accidentally shot himself, but I do know a couple of things. I've been in this world for a bit of time, and one of the things I know is that handguns, when holstered, never go off. If you have a modern holsters are built to where you insert the handgun into the holster to put it on your belt or on your, under your arm or wherever holding your gun. It's molded in a way where it can't physically, it's impossible for it to go off. Even if you dropped it, you rolled around, you were wrestling with it, you got in a fight and your gun's in there, it will never go off because it can't pull the trigger. The trigger cannot be moved while it's secured in the holster. So when I hear this story of a Secret Service agent accidentally shooting himself, the first thing I have to assume is the gun's out of his holster, right? That's the only way you can shoot yourself. Now, why in gun safety and classes, they say never, ever, ever pull your gun out of your unless you intend to fire it, right? It always stays in there. Like, you're not pulling it out to look at it. You're not pulling it out to play with it or show it off or anything. So what was happening here? They made this article sound like, oh, he accidentally shot himself. No big deal. Guys are very highly skilled and trained. I mean, I don't want to get, and they are trained and they have a skill, which is to protect somebody. They're probably the highest trained bodyguards I could imagine that there are. I mean, if I had a Secret Service agent, I would definitely feel pretty good. But Secret Service agent accidentally shoots himself in the leg while escorting Jill Biden at Philadelphia International Airport. I mean, again, it doesn't happen, but apparently so. You have to read between the lines. You have to a little bit more. My cat just vomited all over the floor. Well, that might end my session today, guys. You all right, Prince? I got a mess to clean up now. I had a couple more talking points to go over, a few more things that we're going to talk about. Operation Epstein Fury. A lot of things happening in that area, but I got a cat emergency. So I'm going to sign off for now. We'll cover all those things on tomorrow's episode. Well, it's great seeing you guys. Appreciate you guys watching. Love to hear your thoughts and comments in the chat. Let me know what you think. And I'm signing off for now. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and like and share and comment and all the above. Hope you guys have a great Monday. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will talk to you guys soon.